Welcome to the Virtual CPA Success Show, where we're 100% focused on helping service-based businesses achieve success. Are you a business owner interested in learning how to scale your business? Has your business reached over $1 million in annual revenue? Then this podcast is for you.
Hello, podcast listeners. Here I am. It's just me, Jamie Knott, today. I'm here to talk about our top 10 podcast downloads from 2021. As you can imagine, this information is really important for us in terms of organizing and planning our podcast going into 2022. So we wanted to let the listeners know what 2022 is going to look like. So we're going to talk about our top 10 podcasts and who they were and how they turned out. And so I'm pretty excited about this podcast. This is my first time doing a solo podcast, so I'm sure it will be quite a bit shorter than our previous ones, but it's still good information, and excited to be here with all of you today. So what I did was I put our podcast into 3 different topics for the ones that made the top 10. So I'm not going to really go in order here. I'm just going to talk about the topics and what podcasts fell into those topics. So there's really 3 topics that we're going to look into for 2022 because these ones really did a nice job in 2021. And the first topic is guests. So anytime we bring on a guest, we really have significantly more downloads than the rest of our podcasts. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is obviously we're reaching 2 audiences. We're not only reaching our audience, but we're reaching that guest audience, their family and friends and coworkers and the people that respect their business and what they do and their craft. So bringing on a guest is always a really good tool for us in order to draw listeners, and I think our listeners really do appreciate bringing on different guests from different areas. And so that is the number one area that we had the most downloads on. So I'm going to talk through quite a few of those right now. So the first one that I'm going to talk about was developing a growth marketing strategy. So this was Dev Basso came in and talked through with us about this, and this was a really good topic, and it kind of combined 2 things that a lot of people like to listen to. 1, a guest, and 2 was marketing. A lot of companies are always trying to find out what steps do I need to take to get more customers. And so anytime we talk about marketing, we usually get a lot of people listening and downloading. So we really combined 2 with this one topic and had quite a few listeners because of it. And I think those are 2 topics that we will continue to look into for 2022, is a little bit more marketing discussions as well as obviously bringing in guests. So the next one I'm going to talk about is actually 2 podcasts. So it was a 2-parter we did with David Jennings, and these were really strong podcasts, and we were talking about scaling the business. So if we're talking about marketing with the previous one, scaling is something that comes up quite a bit because most people are in business to grow, and growth is not an easy thing, and it's not a way to really there's not an easy way to do it. And so anytime we're talking about scaling and developing systems for scaling, you're going to get people that are going to want to listen and learn more about it. And again, I know David Jennings is a huge person, and we've read his book and fell in love with his book, and we really enjoyed talking to him. And I think those podcasts were highly listened to, not only because of who David is, but because of the topic he brings. So that's the next topic we had. The next topic that came in with a guest was Tiffany Ferris from one of our clients, and this podcast actually aired on 2 of our different stations and was a top 10 on both of those podcasts. So great job to Tiffany, and I really respect Tiffany and like talking to Tiffany, and the more I talk to her, the smarter I get, and I'm sure that's how people feel about listening to her as well, as she is a very sharp person who has a lot of good business ideas, and I'm sure our guests took a lot out of. The next podcast with a guest was Tom Beck from Soda. This one didn't surprise me as well because anytime someone comes to us, anytime we go somewhere to speak, people are always curious about industry trends. And so to bring someone in with numbers and data about the industry, they're going to obviously bring a lot of listeners. And then Tom is very respected within Soda, and Soda's a great organization. So it doesn't surprise me that this one also cracked the top 10. So those are all the podcasts that are in that first topic. Well, actually, I found one more here. Sorry, I was going through my list here, and there's one more. And this one was a unique one, and it doesn't surprised me again that this one was a top 10. And the main reason is because I go to many events. I go to beer events, I go to soda events, and pricing comes up every single time. So the fact that this one was a top 10 download for 2021 is to be expected. And it's value-based pricing with Geraldine Carter. So we talked a lot about the pricing and how value-based pricing works and how to do that. And that one does not surprise me that it cracked that top 10. And so those are the guest ones. And so obviously a lot there. 6 of our top 10 had guests on, and some of these other ones had some guests as well. But those are the ones that I just classified as the guest topic. So the number 2 is we actually had 2 topics in here, and this is related to tools. So I think everybody's always looking for the next tool, the best way to really improve your business and resources to use. And this first tool was QuickFee. So we talked with people from QuickFee about financing and ways to get really some pretty efficient and easy loans. And this is a tool that I think a lot of our clients use, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are using as well. And so anytime we bring on a tool topic, we know we're going to have people that come in and listen to it. And so that's something we will continue to do in 2022, because we at Summit are also always looking for new tools and new ways to help our clients and help people that are looking for ways to make their business better. And so we have a Friday meeting where we sit with all of our CFOs and we talk about tools they use, and this comes up. Once we learn about new tools, we will definitely bring it on to the podcast. And QuickFee was a newer tool to us this year, and it's something that I know a lot of our clients took advantage of, and I'm glad our listeners enjoyed it as well. So go from a newer tool with QuickFee to a tool we've been using since the beginning of Summit, which is Bill.com. So Bill.com is a tool that is a great way to pay bills, a very efficient way to pay bills, and something that it's kind of the lifebone of what we do, the backbone of what we do here at Summit CPA for a lot of our clients is getting their bills paid. So having that podcast in the top 10, I'm glad that other people were as interested in that tool as we are, because it's something we've been using for a very long time and something that we will continue to do. So that was the second topic that cracked our top 10 was the tools with those 2 downloads. The last topic is something that is top of mind for everybody right now, and this is something that we will continue to talk about and continue to do podcasts about and continue to talk about our clients about until things change within the current environment out there, and that's people. How do you keep people? How do you get people? How do you find people? How do you make your people happy? And so there were 2 podcasts that came out of that category, and both of them are pretty fun topics. And one is when we did the podcast on the Great Resignation. I thought that was a really good podcast. It was very topical. The timing was right, and I know it's something that everybody I talk to, whether they're a client, whether it's someone I'm just hanging out with on the weekends, doing the normal stuff I do, it's just, anytime you talk business with people, this is something people are talking about is, wow, the job market has really changed. And so this podcast, which was number 46 for us, was a big topic and one of our top 5 downloads, actually. So really important topic that needed to be addressed. And I'm glad people downloaded it and hopefully got something out of it and took some of our strategies and are getting it through a little bit easier than in the past. And then the last one is our part 1 of when we talked about the company retreats. So we tried a two-part podcast there, and we tried to do the one in person, and the one in person, we couldn't get the audio to work. And so even though we had a really good time in Vegas and recorded in person, the second one didn't work. But the first one, where we kind of talked about the planning part of it and how to make a company retreat fun and great when you're a remote company, that one did crack our top 10. So I'm glad that one did, because those are fun topics to record. Anytime you're bringing Zach and Lily in, you're going to have a really good conversation. And there was a lot of people involved in that podcast, but a lot of people are involved in planning our retreats. So glad that one cracked the top 10, because that's something that we find to be very important. And we often talk about our budget and talk about ways to make Summit CPA better. And I can tell you the retreats has never come up as an option. It's just something we have to do. It's something that is important for us to do. And when we have these company retreats, it gives us really a lot of energy for the next 6 months. And I know it does for me personally, as well as the company. So these retreats are super important to us, and glad that they're important to our listeners as well. So those are our top 10 podcasts for 2021. And as you can see, these are topics we will continue to talk about in 2022. We'll continue to bring guests on. We'll continue to find tools, and we will make sure we keep talking about people until the Great Resignation has moved on to something else. So that kind of gives us a direction into 2022. If you ever want to be a guest on our podcast, don't be afraid to reach out to us. I've given the email address several times, and it'll also be in the show notes here. So don't be afraid to reach out to us and get on the show. So thanks for listening, and look forward to a great 2022.
Enjoy this podcast? Visit our website at summitcpa.net to get more tips and strategies for achieving business success. We're here to be a resource in this ever-changing industry.